Welcome back, you guys, and if you remember earlier in the year, I made a video about some NBA players reviving their careers. I talked about Derrick Rose, Serge Ibaka, Iman Shumpert, and others about their return back to their old selves and how they've been helping their teams win games. Well, there are some more NBA players this year getting back to what they used to be. There's one guy on here that you might disagree with, but I'll get into why I put him in here. First on the list, we got Jalil Okafor, and to refresh your memory, he was selected number 3 by the Sixers in the 2015 draft. Even though the Sixers were terrible that year, Jalil had a nice rookie season stat-wise. He was averaging 18 points per game, 7 rebounds, and shot about 51% from the field. But Okafor was quickly moved to the background when Joel Embiid was dominating in practices and played well in those 30 games in 2016. People started to realize that his lack of lateral movement and rim protection on defense, as well as his lack of shooting range on offense, was not going to elevate the Sixers' team offense and defense. Jalil saw the bench a lot, and we were just waiting to see which team was going to take a chance on him in a trade. That team ended up being the Brooklyn Nets, and the same problems that kept him off the court in Philly kept him off the court in Brooklyn. He was in and out of the rotation on a 28-win Nets team. I know I heard this, I know you guys heard it too. Over the 2018 summer, there were people saying this Pelicans deal could be the last contract he gets in the NBA. Pretty much everyone was down on Jalil. The Pelicans signed him to a partially guaranteed contract in August, which included a team option for extending it into the 2020 season. It was low risk for the Pelicans, but a big risk for Jalil because he was playing on a fast-paced New Orleans team with Julius Randle, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Mirotic. Where was he going to find minutes in the most important season in Pelicans history? For the first 3 months of the season, Okafor was getting about 9 minutes per game and would play one game, but wouldn't get minutes in the next 2 games. But since January 21st, Jalil's averaging 17 points, bringing down about 9 rebounds, blocking about 2 shots a game, on a very efficient 66% field goal percentage. Those numbers are pretty good for somebody that was considered washed up before the age of 25 and signed what some people thought was his one last chance to prove he can be a part of a 10-man rotation in the NBA. Due to some injuries and the Anthony Davis situation, the Pelicans might just accept Jalil's team option for the 2020 season. He's put up multiple double-doubles over the past few weeks against playoff teams. Is he really somebody that's going to elevate a team's offense and defense? I doubt he gets big minutes in a hypothetical playoff series, but not every team is a playoff team. If he accepts like a 15 to 20 minute bench role, I think he can do fine for the next few seasons if he can stay efficient and rebound like he usually does. Next player in the video, we have Kenneth Faried, who's playing about 30 minutes per game for the Houston Rockets. If you remember last year, I made a video on Kenneth Faried's career and why he fell off as a player. Back in 2012, the Denver Nuggets saw that they had something in Faried when he broke out as an athletic power forward that can beat other big men down the court and create havoc on the offensive and defensive glass. He did not have a polished offensive skill set, but he played with a lot of energy and effort that made up for his lack of skill. In Denver, he finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting, had 70 double-doubles in his first 3 seasons, and finished top 10 in total offensive rebounds from 2012 to 2015. Even at 6'8", which is sort of undersized as a big man, Kenneth was extremely hard to keep off the glass. But ever since 2015, you could find Kenneth Faried in trade rumors, and the Nuggets were trying to find young players to replace him in the starting lineup. Because the climate of the NBA was changing and new players were signed to Denver, Faried began to lose minutes to Jusuf Nurkic, Daryl Arthur, Miles Plumlee, and Nikola Jokic. By 2018, Faried was completely out of the Nuggets lineup and did not suit up for games. It was around that time I made that video, and you had to wonder which team he was going to next. The Brooklyn Nets took that chance on him when they traded for him in the summer of 2018. His time in Brooklyn did not last very long. They waived him on January 19th, and 2 days later the Rockets picked him up off waivers. Because of Clint Capella's right thumb injury that put him out for over a month, the Rockets needed big man depth, and Kenneth has revived his career here. In 12 games with the Rockets, Faried is averaging 16 points, bringing down 10 rebounds, and shooting 63% from the field. His athleticism and rim running ability fits what Houston does on offense pretty well. His job is to set screens, rebound, and finish at the rim when he receives a pass at the rim from Harden. I would say Faried has exceeded most people's expectations. He has had moments on defense making positive plays, but he's not exactly a plus defender. He does get beat often, and his lack of height does come into play against certain matchups. Faried is definitely not the solution for the Rockets as center for the rest of the season, but he will be a part of the rotation for the rest of the year. Once Clint Capella gets back from his injury, he will be starting at center for 30 minutes per game, and Faried's minutes will drop. I was probably slightly too harsh the last time I talked about him. I didn't think he was a lost cause, but I wasn't sure where and how he would make his comeback. Timing is everything, and Faried's play has probably gotten him a 2-year contract this summer when he becomes a free agent. Last on the list, we got DAngelo Russell, and this might be a stretch as he was the number 2 pick, and he was good for the Lakers, but it was just over a year ago when LA traded him to Brooklyn to unload Timothy Mozgov's contract and officially set off the Lonzo Ball era. Magic Johnson at Lonzo's first press conference said that he needed a leader after trading away DAngelo. There were definitely scenarios where people saw DAngelo Russell as someone that was unable to elevate a team's offense at point guard. Could DAngelo impact winning? Could DAngelo mature enough as a player that makes good decisions as a playmaker and defender? Well, he's doing that this year. He is having his most efficient season of his career by pretty much every stat you want to check. He's shooting a career best from the field, from the three-point line, from the free throw line, and in assist-to-turnover ratio. DAngelo right now is getting most of his offensive production out of the pick and roll, spotting up for 3, and in transition. Watching Nets games, you actually trust him to make a decent decision after turning the corner of a screen. He takes a floater or a mid-range if the center drops back to protect the basket. He'll take it to the rim if you're playing flat-footed, or a pull-up from 3. He's shooting 37% from 3 on 7 attempts per game, which is a good mark for him. And it's not just his offense that has taken a big step forward, it's been his overall commitment to defense. A big criticism in his first 3 years was his overall defensive awareness and effort. He actually leads the Brooklyn Nets in total deflections. Russell has 116 deflections on the year. This is easily his best season as a defender. The Nets trade was probably the best move for his career. He's playing with no pressure to win. No one before the season had the Nets locked in as a guaranteed playoff team. As of this video, the Nets have lost 5 of their last 7 games, and you couldn't really tell because everyone is just really excited about the team's development. Now, DAngelo will be a free agent this summer, and if I had to guess, his agent is going to try to get him the same deal that Zach LaVine got over the summer from the Kings, which was about $78 million over 4 years. Let's just say what DAngelo is doing on offense right now is his peak, and he simply just becomes a smarter defender every single year. I say he's worth that $80 million contract. He's impacting wins right now and has been a part of why the Nets have been a playoff team in the East. And that's it for me, man. What do you guys think of Jalil, DAngelo, and Kenneth this year? I would say Jalil has been the most surprising because I didn't see the Anthony Davis trade request coming mid-season. I thought he'd at least play out this year, then get traded in the summer. My next 2 videos should be on the MVP race and that LeBron head coach's video I keep mentioning that I'm going to do. So I'll see you guys then.